Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And as T-Mobile continues deploying its assets, right? Even in what are we now, in year 5, going on year 6, and they're still deploying N41 on sites. It's not the majority anymore. Definitely not. It's sites that are, a handful of sites that never got it, that T-Mobile is going back to now, and they're adding it. They're continuing to really, really focus on the wireless network, right? And recently, they disclosed publicly to investors and analysts that their core focus is still the wireless network. And it makes sense because they really don't have much of anything really going on with fiber. Yes, they're doing some of that today, but it's not to the extent where you're going to say, hey, we're going to shift our core focus to fiber. That's just not the case. Even though they're shifting towards, deploying fiber, learning that asset, getting some revenue from that, they are shifting towards that, but they can't make that the core focus yet because wireless is still where it's at for T-Mobile. They still are underpenetrated in government, business, small market, rural areas. They still have so much upside, and they're continuing to build out the network. So this is going to take, and I'm talking every single site, right? We're talking every single site getting C-band for Verizon and AT&T. It's going to take those guys years more of deploying to touch every single site. I guarantee you, even when they say, hey, we're 80% or 90% completed, there's still going to be sites in your market that have not been touched. And and we're seeing that with T-Mobile. There's a handful of sites here that don't have N41 and they're now deploying it. Even though they told us long ago they hit 300 million pops, they have like 90% deployment on sites or whatnot, and they're still adding it. So that tells me Verizon and AT&T are still going to be deploying C-band next year, the year after, and likely well into 2028 is what they're still going to be deploying C-band on, especially AT&T. They're behind today. They're going through a big transition to one vendor, Ericsson. So they're going to be deploying C-band there. There's still going to be C-RAN that they're going to have to touch with C-band. DAS systems are going to have to get upgraded to C-band and to Ericsson. So they're going to be busy, but T-Mobile's core focus as it stands today is still wireless. So they still have to provide a network that is a great performing network, right? Size, scale, all of that's going to matter, including venues, right? We had in El Paso, Texas, we had the Coldplay concert at UTEP, and easily with all the workers and event staff and fans and the band and everyone involved, I guarantee you it was close to 65, 70,000 people inside that stadium. And even with added assets, cell on wheels, additional sectors were added, everything was upgraded, T-Mobile still struggled. It was hard getting messages through, phone calls were not going through. I mean, in my opinion, they failed. That was a complete fail. Right, if it was estimated to have that many people there, right, we could argue 65, 70,000, that's around a Super Bowl event, right? And then you still have to carry all the traffic that's around the stadium. So if a DAS system or more cell on wheels or more assets were needed, then that needed to be deployed, and it wasn't, right? So it's interesting, right? T-Mobile is not the best at venues. We've seen that time and time again, but they're trying, right? They're trying to bring additional assets. They're trying to deploy more spectrum assets on sites that weren't previously deployed. So T-Mobile is really, really trying as wireless remains the core focus of the business, right? With AT&T, that focus is clearly all over the place. And if I had to take a guess, it's definitely geared more towards fiber, their focus. But with T-Mobile, the core focus is still the wireless network as it should be until they can get a high percentage share in first responders, business, small business, government accounts, you name it. they need to grow. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Let me know if you've been experiencing on the T-Mobile network. Let me know if you're seeing upgrades. Let me know if you're seeing new ads. Let me know if you're seeing new stuff being added to bigger venues. Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.